Good morning, wonderful little Jays. So Miss Frizzle made a mistake yesterday and she said there weren't any birthdays, and I am so sorry, Kate Mackey, because it was her birthday yesterday. So I will be singing the birthday song to you along with the other birthdays today, okay? Sorry for Miss Frizzle's mistake, Kate. And so today I am reading The Magic School Bus Lost in the Solar System. Are you ready? Here we go. It'll be out of this world. It was a trip day again in Miss Frizzle's class. Everyone was excited. We were going to see a planetarium, to see a sky show about the solar system. Class, an orbit is the path or planet or other object around the sun. I knew that. I get all A's in school. I had 5 computers. My class went to the planetarium last year. Arnold's cousin Janet was visiting our class for the day. I know all of you will be nice to our guest, said the Frizz. What a show off. Thanks for inviting your cousin, Arnold. She's actually nice when you get to know her. We tried to be nice to Janet. We really did. We got on the school bus. We told her that Miss Frizzle is the weirdest teacher in school. But Janet wasn't interested. She just wanted to tell us about herself. My school is taller than your school. Our swings are better than your swings. My teacher is weirder than your teacher. Who wants a tall school? As usual, it took a while to get the old bus started, but finally we were on our way. As we were driving, Miss Frizzle told us all about how the Earth spins like a top as it moves into its orbit. It was just a short drive to the planetarium, but Miss Frizzle talked fast. This bus is a wreck. At least it started this time. We have a few school buses at our school. When the Earth spins, we say it rotates. The Earth makes one complete rotation turn every 24 hours. When we got to the planetarium, it was closed for repairs. Class, this means we'll have to return to school, said the Frizz. We were so disappointed. Back to school? I'm so depressed. My planetarium is always open. On the way back, as we were waiting at a red light, something amazing happened. The bus started tilting back, and we heard the roar of rockets. Oh dear, said Miss Frizzle. We seem to be blasting off. Here we go again. Not another crazy trip. Children, we are going through the atmosphere, the layers of air around the Earth. I guess we'll be seeing the solar system after all. My bus has bigger rockets than your bus. Yeah, right, Janet. When the roar of the rockets stopped, we looked around. Everything had changed. The bus had turned into a spaceship. We were all dressed in spacesuits and we were lighter than feathers. We floated above our seats. I'm flying higher than you are. Look, it's a UFB. A what? An unidentified flying banana. Far behind, in the black sky, we saw the planet Earth. Getting smaller and smaller. We were traveling in space. We had become astronauts. Look how small the Earth seems from here. I think I have to go to the bathroom. It's beautiful. Class, notice Earth's blue oceans, white clouds, and brown land. The Frizz said our first stop would be the moon. We got off the bus and looked around. There was no air, no water, and no sign of life. All we saw were dust and rock and lots of craters. Miss Frizzle said the craters were formed billions of years ago when the moon was hit by meteorites. Meteorites are falling chunks of rocks and metal. It was fun on the moon. Oh, because the moon has less gravity than the Earth. It was fun on the moon. We wanted to play, but Miss Frizzle said it was time to go. So we got back on the bus. We'll start with the sun, the center of the solar system, said the Frizz, and we blasted off. Look how high we can jump. I was in a national jump rope contest. I won, of course. Is there a national bragging contest? We zoomed toward the sun, the biggest, brightest, the hottest object of the solar system. Jets and super hot gases shot out at us from the surface. Thank goodness Miss Frizzle didn't get too close. She steered around the other side and pulled away. We'll be seeing all the planets in auto class, explained Frizzy. Mercury is the first planet, the closest to the sun. You should never look directly at the sun. You should never look directly at the sun, children. It can damage your eyes. You should never drive a bus directly into the sun either. My school is heated with solar energy. I have a sun deck. I have 10 pair of sunglasses. Give us a break, Janet. Mercury was a dead, sun-baked planet. This planet is a lot like our moon. There's no water and hardly any air, said the Frizz. Notice the craters on its surface as we pass by. The sun looks twice as big here as it does from the Earth. That's because Mercury is so close. Too close. Let's go. Before long, we felt ourselves being pulled in by the gravity of Venus, the second planet from the sun. Venus was completely covered by a thick layer of yellowish clouds. We will now explore the surface of Venus, said Miss Frizzle. We're gaining weight and we haven't even had lunch. We will be heavier here than on the moon or Mercury because Venus has more gravity. Below the clouds, Venus was as dry as a desert. The ground was covered with rocks, and it was hot. It was about 460 degrees Celsius. That's much hotter than an oven baking cookies. There's no life on Venus, class. It's too hot. It's too dry. There's too much acid. Let's leave. The air was so heavy we could feel it pressing down on us. Miss Frizzle said there are active volcanoes around too. We said, let's get out of here. Our next stop is Mars, the red planet, fourth from the sun, announced the Frizz. On our way, we'll be passing through the orbit of Earth, the third planet. The bus lifted off with a roar. I've been to Mars lots of times. Just ignore her. As we came close to Mars, we passed its two moons, which are called Phobos and Deimos. Compared to our moon, they were tiny, and they weren't even round. Looking down, we saw a huge canyon. Miss Frizzle said it was as long as the United States. There was a volcano 3 times taller than the tallest volcano on Earth, and all around there were channels that looked like dried up riverbeds. Those are moons? They look like potatoes with craters. Long ago, there may have been water in those channels. Yes, but today all Mars's water is frozen in the polar ice caps. The Earth is the best planet for life. That's why I live there. Janet likes to be the best. We noticed. We landed and started walking around. Suddenly, a huge dust storm blew up. Miss Frizzle said dust storms on Mars can last for months. They may cover the whole planet. We scrambled back on the bus and headed out. Are there any aliens here? I don't see any. Don't be so sure. Mars is the last of what we call the inner planets, Miss Frizzle shouted above the roar of the rockets. We will now be going through the asteroid belt to the outer planets. Isn't space travel exciting on it? I really prefer film strips. Thousands of asteroids were spinning all around us. All at once, we heard the tinkling of broken glass. One of our taillights had been hit by an asteroid. Miss Frizzle put the bus on autopilot and we went out to take a look. She kept on talking about asteroids over the bus radio. Suddenly, there was a snap. Miss Frizzle's tether line had broken. Without warning, the rockets fired up and the bus zoomed away. The autopilot was malfunctioning. The largest asteroid is only a third the size of our moon. Most asteroids are the size of a house or smaller. I wish you'd come inside. On the radio, Miss Frizzle's voice grew fainter and fainter. Then she was gone. We were on our own. We were lost in the solar system. Kids, I'll meet you later. Oh. Come in, Miss Frizzle. Do you read me? Most of us were too scared to move, but Janet started searching the bus. In the glove compartment, she found Miss Frizzle's lesson book. As she began reading from it, a huge planet came up into view. Class, this is Jupiter, Janet read. It is the first of the outer planets and the largest planet in the solar system. She shouldn't touch Miss Frizzle's things, but this is an emergency. As we approach Jupiter, we can see some of its 16 moons. Arnold, are you listening? Why, Miss Frizzle plans everything. We thought the school bus was going to land, but there was no solid ground to land on. Jupiter was a gas giant, a planet made almost entirely of gas. As we left Jupiter, we wondered and worried, would we ever get home? Jupiter is so big that more than 1,000 Earths could fit inside it. Miss Frizzle, where are you? The next sight made us forget our troubles. It was Saturn, a gas planet like Jupiter. It had swirling clouds and lots of moons. But the most incredible thing about Saturn was its rings. It was the most beautiful planet in the solar system. There are thousands of rings around Saturn, class. They look like the grooves in a phonograph record. Saturn is the grooviest planet, man. Rock, ice, and dust. Could Saturn take a bath? Yes, but it might leave a ring. Next was Uranus, a blue-green gas planet with faint gray rings and moons. Some scientists think they might be made of chunks of graphite, the materials used in pencils on Earth. Methane gas in its atmosphere makes Uranus look blue. You look kind of blue yourself. I'm freezing. That's because we're so far away from the sun. The bus was going faster and faster, and we couldn't stop. We couldn't control the autopilot. We swept past stormy Neptune, another blue-green planet 8th from the sun. All we could think about was finding Miss Frizzle. Neptune is the last of the giant gas planets. We're almost out of gas ourselves, and the nearest service station is 4,000 million kilometers away. We were going so fast we almost missed seeing the 9th planet, tiny Pluto, and its moon, Charon. We were so far away from the sun that it didn't look big anymore. It just looked like a very bright star. We were leaving the solar system. There's nothing out here but stars. Maybe there's a 10th planet waiting to be discovered. I'll have to wait. I hope Miss Frizzle is waiting too. Janet flipped rapidly through Miss Frizzle's book. Suddenly, she found something new. the instructions for the autopilot. We punched in asteroid belt on the control panel. Slowly, the bus turned around. It was working. We were going back. Janet really saved the day. I told you she's a good kid. When we reached the asteroid belt, there was Miss Frizzle. Hey, that asteroid is dressed funny. That's not an asteroid, it's Miss Frizzle. Boy, am I glad to see her. Me too. When Frizzy back at the wheel, the bus headed straight for Earth. We re-entered the atmosphere, landed with a thump, and looked around. Boys and girls, we are arriving on Earth, the third planet from the sun. We were in the school parking lot again. The rockets were gone, the spacesuits were gone, the bus was a wreck. Everything was back to normal. Thank goodness. Hello again, old friend. In the classroom, we made a terrific chart of the planets and a mobile of the solar system. At last, it was time to go home. It had been a typical day in Miss Frizzle's class. Now we had only one problem. Would anyone ever believe us when we told them about our trip? We went to outer space today. Of course you did, dear. My favorite planet was Jupiter. No, maybe Mars. Of course Saturn was gorgeous too. Mom, make him stop. And there was Miss Frizzle floating among the asteroids. What an imagination. We could have been lost in space forever. Eat your salad, honey. And that is the end of the story, The Magic School Bus Lost in the Solar System. And we have many birthdays to celebrate today. First, Kate Mackey, I missed you yesterday and I'm so sorry for your birthday was yesterday. Khadijah Cruz is this weekend. Today, Zayden Davis, happy birthday today. Isabella Garcia is this weekend. And Brooklyn Whitcomb is this weekend. So happy birthday. Okay. You ready? Okay. Happy birthday. It's such a special day. Happy birthday. I hope it goes your way. Hey, happy birthday. May all your dreams come true. Happy birthday from Mrs. Epps to you. I love you all and have a happy birthday. I love you, little Jays, and have a wonderful weekend. I'll miss you, and Miss Frizzle will see you again on Monday.